At one point, mammoths were among the most successful large animals on Earth. Today, they're gone. And the reason they disappeared is more complicated than most people think. For hundreds of thousands of years, these giant animals survived freezing temperatures and spread across enormous parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. Yet, despite all of that success, mammoths eventually vanished from the planet. So what happened? Long before modern civilization existed, vast regions of the northern hemisphere were covered by cold grasslands known as the Mammoth Steppe. These landscapes became home to one of the most iconic animals of the Ice Age, the woolly mammoth. Standing over 11 feet tall and weighing up to 6 tons, mammoths were perfectly adapted for life in extreme cold. Thick fur, insulating fat, and enormous curved tusks allowed them to survive conditions that would challenge many other species. Everything about the mammoth was designed for survival. Their small ears reduced heat loss. Their trunks helped them uncover food beneath snow. Their massive bodies retained warmth and protected them from harsh winters. For thousands of generations, mammoths thrived. They spread across Europe, Asia, and North America, becoming one of the most successful large mammals on Earth. But around 20,000 years ago, the world began to change. As the Ice Age came to an end, temperatures slowly increased. Massive glaciers retreated, and the open grasslands mammoths depended on began disappearing. Forests expanded into regions that had once been ideal mammoth habitat. Populations became isolated from one another, and food sources gradually changed. At the same time, humans were spreading into many of the same regions occupied by mammoths. Archaeological evidence shows that people hunted mammoths for meat, hides, and materials. However, most scientists no longer believe that hunting alone caused mammoth extinction. Instead, the evidence suggests that mammoths were facing multiple pressures at the same time. Climate change reduced available habitat. Human hunting added pressure. Smaller populations became more vulnerable to disease, environmental changes, and genetic decline. Together, these factors created a perfect storm. Over thousands of years, mammoth numbers continued shrinking. The giant herds that once roamed entire continents became smaller and more isolated. Yet not all mammoths disappeared immediately. Small populations survived in remote locations long after mainland mammoths vanished. One of the most famous examples was Wrangel Island in the Arctic Ocean. Here, mammoths survived for thousands of years after their relatives had already disappeared elsewhere. Eventually, even these final survivors vanished. The last known mammoths died around 4,000 years ago. Remarkably, mammoths were still alive while ancient civilizations were already building monuments and developing complex societies. Today, scientists are studying preserved mammoth DNA and exploring whether mammoth-like animals could one day return through genetic engineering. Whether that becomes reality remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the story of the mammoth is not simply a story of extinction. It is a story about survival, adaptation, environmental change, and the fragile balance that shapes life on Earth. Thousands of years after the last mammoth disappeared, these Ice Age giants continue to capture our imagination and remind us how quickly even the most successful species can vanish from the world.